There's no sign of them at all. Are they really here?
We're not even past the station yet. We gotta head further in.
But it's dark over there.
Stop being a scaredy cat and get a grip.
Plus, the chief will get mad at you if you don't take this seriously.
I know that.
Fire detected. Please follow the directions and calmly make your way to the surface. I repeat, fire detected. Please follow the directions and calmly make your way to the surface.
Oh my, how awful.
Let's call the chief and help the workers evacuate.
Rico, can you contact the site's control center?
Huh? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna find out what's going on so we can help. Connect us.
All right.
This is TMPD Cyber Countermeasures Office. Control center, please report the situation.
A fire alarm was triggered. The workers are evacuating.
How bad's the fire?
The on-site camera is showing a malfunction alert. The heat might have damaged it.
Tell us where it is, please.
Sure, but what are you planning to do?
We're going to help. Some people might have been left behind.
Are you serious? This could all be a trap set by Takaoka.
But it might not be. You two help with the evacuation.
You idiot! I won't let you go alone!
Me neither. We're going together.
Rico, Iroha, thanks. Cyberforce dolls, roll out! What is this?
You're not gonna take me into custody without a warrant, Cyberforce dolls.
I don't see any smoke or fire.
It's a false alarm. The control center just confirmed it.
So there was no fire. Oh, what a relief. I mean, no! Did we get played?
We did. Badly. I told you it might have been a trap, but you just couldn't help yourself.
When did he figure out we were looking for them?
Maybe he's just that careful.
He sure fooled us.
Ugh, you slippery little worm! I'm gonna remember your face and name, Paula Takaoka!
We kind of scrambled to put the program together, but it worked just fine.
It was a pretty simple trick, though. I doubt they'd fall for it again.
It worked this time, and that's all that matters. Thanks, man.
Each company's disaster prevention system had its own quirks, so I had to rely on Cross's help to build the program as fast as possible.
I've got your back.
Man, this whole thing reminded me I was still a real hacker. I'd had to use my skills a whole bunch of times to help Momo today. I'd always said that I wanted to get out of this business, yet here I was. Anyway, we finally lost the cops. Now all we had to do was get back to Nakano while avoiding the army. We could think about what to do after that tomorrow. But this whole saving and loading thing was still on my mind.
Hey, super hacker, you still watching?
Yeah?
This wouldn't have gone so smoothly without this thing you gave me. I don't like you, and I'm not gonna let you stay anonymous forever. But until I unmask you, I'm gonna use this power whenever I need it.
Seated in the back of a car, Graham Kingley shifted his gaze from outside to the information displayed on the car's windshield. It showed that the destination, Uminomori, was half an hour away. The car was currently parked at the side of the road in Nihonbashi, however... He was soon joined by Yuan Okuda, who'd brought a large object with him.
All business has been taken care of. Drive.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The two were sitting directly beside one another, but they didn't so much as exchange a glance. Between them was the huge stuffed animal that Yuan had brought.
How many of these have you bought now?
I haven't been counting. It's a small price to pay to keep Asuma manageable. It makes your job easier too, doesn't it?
So these are just to keep him in a good mood? Is that really all there is to it?
What are you getting at?
More importantly, I was never told that Gaia needed maintenance.
Yes, you weren't. Because there's no such maintenance.
So you lied just to get through that mess.
It's far better than having Asuma take part in such useless meetings.
Graham could not deny that sentiment.
Hardly any of this makes sense.
You're a soldier. Aren't you used to being kept in the dark?
I've been a soldier for years, but I've never been in a situation like this. The brat that showed up out of nowhere was especially weird. He knew exactly when we'd be told to retreat down to the second. There's no way he could have known that without hacking a military sat.
Wizard-tier hackers who could access military satellites without leaving a trace were few and far between. And such activity would make you an enemy of the USA. Graham didn't believe this operation warranted such feats. That's why he doubted that hacking was at the center of it all.
Someone leak our info to that twerp? Or does he just have a good intuition?
Asuma had something to say about what happened too. He said that things are going differently from the simulation.
In a way he couldn't grasp, those words put Graham ill at ease.
You spent an entire night together, huh?
It was the next morning. Cross said that the moment he arrived at Symphony with a serious expression on his face.
So what if we did?
Did you do anything?
No, we didn't.
Figured.
Bro, don't just assume that.
All right. By the way, you haven't gotten much sleep, have you?
Why do you care? Spending a night with a girl is no big deal to me.
Actually, I meant you must have been on the lookout all night for whoever's after you.
So that was it, huh? He said the police actually visited my place. So spending the night at Symphony was the right idea. The army, on the other hand, hadn't been up to much since their retreat, apparently. Hearing that wasn't enough to put me at ease, though. I'd spent the night bracing myself for a raid and barely got any sleep.
Well, either way, I understand.
Das mit seinem Hals komisch schattiert. Einfach. Die benutzen irgendwie für diese Avatare, für die Bilder, ist nicht handgezeichnet, das so 3D-Modelle mit wie heißt's? Cell Shading. Und ich nehme an, das ist einfach komisch schattiert.
That's so. Anyways, let's talk.
I called Cross over to tell him about it yesterday. I told him about who was after Momo and even mentioned the saving and loading thing I'd been using. Momo was asleep on the only sofa we had. She didn't even wake up when Cross came in. She must have been out of it.
Make sure you ask her about herself later. I know you're gonna stay involved with her.
I am. You know me real well, huh?
We're a duo, aren't we? That aside, I was thinking about this whole saving and loading thing.
It's a pretty awesome app, huh? Could be crazy useful.
Listen, I strongly suggest that you don't use it blindly. Nothing, let alone an app, can do what you just described.
So I didn't actually believe it was real, huh? I couldn't blame him though. I was still 50-50 on it
You
myself.
mean that it could be a trap, right? I know that. That's why I want you to look into it.
Yeah, of course. Although, whoever we're dealing with, I might be totally outclassed.
Ozutani. Is this Oz?
That reminded me, he'd left a comment on the Nakano Symphonies commissions page.
Yo, wanna go out for lunch?
How do you know my contact info?
You're not hungry?
Answer my question. Or don't, if you want to get on my bad side.
I got some influence here and there.
That's so.
Out of everyone involved with yesterday's events, who could have connections to this guy?
Like, the police?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it looks like all that cracking you did yesterday has disappeared from the police database.
For real?
So, yeah. There's no reason for them to take you downtown anymore.
This isn't just the police being nice, though, is it?
I didn't know who was pulling the strings or why, but they clearly had power over the police. I bet they'd gotten the army involved too.
We can talk about that and more when we meet. You know, have a little info exchange. Bring the girl with you too.
I didn't answer right away. Honestly, I couldn't. I was still just some guy determined to help Momo out. And I had to find out how much this guy actually knew.
You got anything on this brat in a bow tie?
You know him too? You just keep giving me more reasons to hear you out.
I could vividly remember that boy who'd climbed out of the chopper yesterday. He looked younger than me, but he was lording over the army and acting like he was the boss. I'd met him before the first load, which meant that our meeting never actually happened. If this guy knew something about that boy, it seemed like a good idea for us to talk. If I wanted to help Momo as best as I could, I had to know as much about our enemies as possible.
I'll come, if lunch is on you.
1 in the afternoon, a place called Toka in Nakano's District 5. Don't be late.
He ended the call without even giving me a map. Now was the time to decide what I was gonna tell Momo. She woke up a while later, and I told her about the meeting with Oz.
I'll go by myself.
You're gonna ask for his help?
No, that's not what I'm thinking. I just need to find out why this country's army was trying to capture me.
He said he wants an info exchange. We won't learn anything if we don't share something.
But
It looked like I wasn't the only one she wanted to keep in the dark. In that case,
The Vatican.
it would have been better to let Momo explain it herself, but I couldn't keep a lid on it any longer.
They're the ones after you, right?
how do you know that?
I saw them with my own eyes. I told you about the saving and loading thing, right? What I don't know is who was after you yesterday. I should probably find out how they're connected to the Vatican, if they are. Besides, I can't send you out there alone when you're up against an opponent that powerful. I'm getting involved whether you like it or not.
You certainly are stubborn.
You and me both. By the way, you got any money?
Why do you ask?
We gotta do something about those clothes.
She said she had some money, so I took her to the Nakano shopping arcade where she could get herself some clothes. I was waiting at the arcade entrance, but she'd already been in there half an hour.
What's taking her so long? Did she just run off somewhere or what?
Well, Even if we got separated now, I could find her again by heading to the place where we were. To the place we were supposed to meet Oz.
Clothes shopping takes time for girls. Remember that.
You talking from experience?
Maybe.
But I'd just wait for her a while longer. Also, that Oz guy seemed like a dangerous character, so it was probably a good idea to save here. Better to save than be sorry. There.
I checked her BMI, but I didn't see any traces of tampering from the outside. Couldn't even figure out where this saving and loading UI is stored.
Seriously?
So this stuff was beyond even Cross. You're one hell of a hacker giving me the saving and loading stuff.
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting.
Finally.
It's fine.
Momo looked like a completely normal girl in her new fit. She wouldn't stand out at all.
It's almost time. Let's go.
Okay.
The place where Oz wanted to meet was like 10 minutes away from where we were. Momo had taken a sweet time getting her clothes, so it was gonna be a close one.
Poon, do I look okay?
Huh?
I mean, do I fit in?
Yeah, I think you do.
She did look better suited to city life, if that was what she meant. This outfit was way better than that pink costume, at least.
I see. I'm glad to hear that. Let's go.
You good? Have some water.
Delicioso! Está delicioso!
Delicioso?
I've never eaten anything so exquisite in all my life! What do you call this?
It's ramen and fried rice.
Ramen! Fried rice! Delicioso! Sorry, but can I get another helping?
Here you go.
The place Oz chose was a tiny, dirty, old Chinese restaurant. It felt like it's somewhere straight out of the 20th century. If I'd been alone, I would have needed a whole lot of courage to come in here at all. It really didn't seem like a place with good food. But once I saw how excited Momo was, I realized how off my assumption had been. My own share of the ramen and fried rice was already in front of me. This reminded me I hadn't eaten since yesterday afternoon. I scooped up some fried rice with the China spoon, excited for a mouthful of flavor. Well, this was pretty bad actually. It was oily and super salty. As for the ramen, this was the opposite. It had a really light taste. Actually, it didn't taste like anything. This was when my eyes met Oz's.
This place is known for its garlic chives and liver stir-fry.
I looked over to see that very dish in front of both Oz and Nono.
You could have told me that earlier.
How? You didn't ask me.
Oh man, I should have ordered that too. Why did Momo like this so much anyway? Was she taste deaf or something? This was kinda depressing. I had to eat this terrible ramen and fried rice. With our plates almost empty, Nono stood up and poked my arm.
Hey, Polly!
Polly? Is that supposed to be me?
Who else? Look at this!
Nono boldly grabbed his skirt and lifted it up. Suddenly, two mechanical boom arms peeked out from under her skirt. The right arm gripped Nono by her waist, then set her on the chair that the left arm had folded into. The left one was wheeled and started spinning in place while Nono was sitting on it.
Whoa! That's so cool!
Cool, really cute! I knew you'd say that!
Okay.
I call it the very easy. I made it myself. It can even run. Its speed tops out at 40 kilometers per hour.
You really are a virtuoso.
She suddenly started fidgeting for some reason.
Hey, Polly. I'm not taken right now. So, who is Momom to you?
What are you talking about? Who's Momom?
Nono glanced at Momo, who looked well fed and satisfied.
Momom is Momom. Who else? You're kinda dense, aren't ya? I'm asking if you're dating anyone right now.
Although I guess she was one of those kids who's in a rush to grow up.
No. Act your age and stop trying to flirt with the guy.
Sip it, Oz.
But we're not dating. I'm trying to be a hero who helps anyone in need. So I, got no time for women. Got it?
Oh, I knew you were cool, but not this cool.
Hell yeah, I am. If you ever need, just let me know, okay?
Okay, I will. Also, here,
What is this?
a bear sticker. I put it on all the gadgets I make.
At least that fit her age. If she'd given this to me as a peace offering, I had to respond in kind.
Come hang out at Symphony sometime. I'll make you a member of Nakano Symphonies.
Really? Really, little kitty?
Yeah, we got no cats, but, you're always welcome.
Yay! I want to go. I'm gonna go today.
Hey, stop playing around with children.
I'm not a child. I'm a lady.
Yeah, a virtuoso lady.
See? Polly knows it.
Oh, man.
Nono returned to her seat, satisfied.
She your daughter or something? You don't look related.
Hell no. She's just a freeloader.
Hey! You should be glad you get to support a lady like me.
Just eat. You haven't finished yet.
I'm not hungry anymore.
The situation seemed complicated, but this probably wasn't the time to ask about it.
So, let's get down to business.
I beckoned Momo over. She tensed up, but came closer. We'd been in the restaurant for like 20 minutes, but there hadn't been a single other customer. Pretty weird for a weekday lunchtime. I was beginning to understand why Oz had picked this place for us to chat.
Tell me about the guys who were after Momo. I know it's the army, but who do they serve?
They're the SFG, Special Forces Group, a secretive unit of elite soldiers.
Why would a group like
They're
that?
not like a normal unit. They're only mobilized when the operation's above the law. Odds are that they got their orders from real high up in the government. And it was a covert operation, too. They weren't allowed to make a scene. Thanks to you, though, that didn't really work out.
Serves them right. Now they'll know not to mess with me.
Pretty conceited, aren't you?
I'm not bullshitting you. I never say anything I can't back up.
Yeah, you're conceited. Anyway, everything related to yesterday's thing has been deleted. And it's not just what the SFG did. Basically everything about everyone involved is gone too.
And that includes my crimes, huh?
The army couldn't have done that themselves. Odds are someone in Nagatacho was involved.
It was starting to sound like this guy had connections in the government, as well as the police.
So, what's the deal between you and the army?
I'm a jack of all trades. I take jobs and conduct investigations.
So, like a detective?
Yeah, that sounded cool. Way better than hacker work, anyway.
Right now, I'm on a job investigating the Guy Institution.
That's the place where the guy QCDC is kept, right?
Quantum Com Development Center. Supercomputers that use quantum computers.
Yeah.
Guy was one of the most powerful QCDCs in Japan. No, in the whole world. From what I could remember, it was kept at some facility in Uminomori.
What if I told you that the SFG guards the place 24/7?
Oh?
He took out a piece of paper and placed it on the counter.
Huh? A paper photo?
Got a problem with that?
Not at all. You care about security, huh?
Wasn't being sarcastic. The best way to prevent data theft was to avoid putting any data on the internet in the first place. The photo had been taken with a ultra telephoto lens, and it showed soldiers guarding something. Tatted bodybuilder was among them.
Ground Self-Defense Forces Major Graham Kingley, captain of the SFG. They're protecting the program that uses most of the Guy QCDC's resources. Though officially, research on the program was frozen 8 years ago.
Frozen?
Its name is Gaia. It's an Earth simulator generated by a quantum supercomputer.
An Earth simulator, huh? Ross showed me another photo. It looked like a cutout from an old newspaper.
12 years ago, Project Gaia began as a joint effort between MEXT, MEDI, and MOD. Gaia Institution was established for that purpose. The project's goal was to develop the quantum supercomputer Guy QCDC and the Earth simulator Gaia. It's possible to perfectly predict the future using that simulator. You can't even fathom the ways Japan would benefit from that. At the time, the Earth simulator race was at its global peak. Everyone wanted a magic box that'd show them the future.
I know. But then they realized that knowledge of the future is more dangerous than nukes and stopped, right?
If the simulations were advanced enough, they could even allow access to highly classified information, like other countries' nuclear codes. That was the kind of thing these simulators were capable of. That's why various countries held a meeting and agreed to cease development of their Earth simulators. It was a pretty big deal back then.
Yeah, there were opposition movements everywhere. And just like the other Earth simulators, development of Gaia came to a stop. The Gaia Institution continued to exist in order to operate QCDC. But the topic of Gaia itself became taboo. But what country's gonna give up on tech that lets them see the future? They're still working on their Earth simulators, just in secret.
And Japan is no exception, huh?
Oz nodded.
There was another reason why development on Gaia resumed, though.
He gave me another photo. This one seemed like a screen capture from some news show.
It happened shortly after the sad morning. Some hacker went and hacked into the Gaia Institution. He took full control of the management systems and stole all the info on Gaia as it was back then.
I'd never heard about this. If this stuff was true, it really didn't seem like something people should be discussing so openly in some rundown Chinese restaurant.
The Ministry of Defense was in charge of caretaking Gaia while it was frozen. So the whole thing left them with egg on their face. They were clearly desperate to find the culprit.
A godlike hacker like that would never let himself be caught.
You'd think that. But he went and left evidence on purpose, so they found him right away.
So he was just showing off his skills? What an asshole.
Anyway, the army broke into his place fully armed, and what they found was this guy.
The bow-tie boy from the chopper.
Asuma Soga. Despite being just 12 years old at the time, and surrounded by armed men, he insisted that they hire him so he could complete Gaia. The government went on to make him the Gaia Institution's head researcher, and he resumed development on Gaia in secret. They figured having him develop Gaia was more beneficial to them than eliminating him and wasting his skills.
So Gaia's still under development, and the Army's secret squad is guarding it, huh?
Not entirely correct. Gaia's probably complete by now. The SFG only took up posts outside the Guy Institution this year. There was also some big shot who disappeared right before all that. The AOAB Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. His last known location was at the Guy Institution.
Well, that kinda reeked, assuming Oz wasn't bullshitting me anyway. The Guy QCDC was known to the public and provided calculation services and the like. Results of research programs using the Guy QCDC would be broadcast on the news sometimes, but Gaia was something so classified that the public wasn't even told that its development had resumed. And the army was there to keep anything about it from leaking out. So basically, Gaia was at the heart of a huge conspiracy.
What I want to know is why this secret squad of elite soldiers...
Oz shifted his gaze to Momo, who was listening to our conversation.
...was chasing after this little lady. I gave you my info. Now it's your turn. Did any of those names I mentioned ring any bells?
No.
Then why were the SFG after you? What are you?
Our eyes met. I'd convinced her that if she wanted to learn anything from Oz, she would have to share something too. I nodded. Momo gathered her resolve aside and looked at us.
I'm about to tell you something very important. Please keep all of it secret. My mission here is to save the world.
It was a private room located within the Guy Institution. One of the walls was made of glass, a large window to an expanse of high-rise buildings along the coast. The room belonged to the head researcher, Osama Soga, who wasn't present right now, however. Major Graham Kingley was there instead, accompanied by 6 armed soldiers that burst into the room and secured it.
Alpha Team, start Phase 2.
Roger. Starting Phase 2.
Doing as Graham ordered, Alpha Team started using heavy-looking sensors on the many stuffed animals in the room's corner. They were searching for wiretaps and the like.
Narashino, relay the current location of Urunos.
Traveling north on Route 5. Arriving at Bijogi Junction in 7 minutes.
Report any abnormalities.
Roger that.
Target B is clean. No metal detected.
Target A is clean.
3 of the 6 soldiers were using detectors to scan the stuffed animals. After being handed the scanned animals, the others took out their knives and
dismantling Target B.
Forced them into the toys' stomachs. Scanning alone wouldn't guarantee that there were no wiretaps. Just to be safe, they pulled out the cotton stuffing and thoroughly checked inside each one. There were fewer than 10 in total. Some were far larger than others, though, so it would take time to remove all the cotton and examine them.
Hurry!
Asuma Soga and Yun Okuda had taken a car to go to a meeting half an hour ago. Graham had taken this opportunity to commence this operation. The objective was to investigate the stuffed animals that Yun regularly bought for Asuma. Graham suspected that they had wiretaps inside. Yun Okuda was an engineer belonging to a national research company. He'd been part of Project Gaia since before its development was frozen. He'd simply been another member of the project back then, but now he was someone you could call Asuma's right-hand man. Graham believed that this was the result of both his skill as an engineer as well as his ability to keep Asuma satisfied. Asuma used Yun as his own attendant, keeping him close by at all times. After the AOAB Director General was exposed as a spy 1 year ago, security for both Gaia and Asuma had greatly increased. Yun was the one who shot the spy that day. Graham always felt something was off about Yun. There was no particular reason, but if he had to give one, it to be his soldier's intuition. He had looked into Yun's past just in case, but found nothing incriminating. However deep he dug, there was no indication the man was shady. Graham couldn't shake that strange feeling though, even now. In his mind, it was still possible that Yun Okuda was an industry spy, and Graham had planned this operation to confirm it.
Rhino Leader, this is Narashino. As planned, Uranos has left the Wako interchange.
Today, Asuma had gone to a meeting at Raiken. He wouldn't be back for at least 2 hours.
Keep track of them. Don't lose sight of Uranos.
This is Narashino. Roger that.
How many are left?
This is the last one.
The soldier pointed at the bear Yun had bought most recently. Graham took the bear by the head and tore it open with his own bare hands. He forced his hand inside and examined it without a care or restraint.
Target eye is clean.
All targets checked. Nothing detected.
Proceed to Phase 3.
They retrieved the torn stuffed animals and began carefully replacing them with exact substitutes they'd prepared. This was to keep anyone from realizing the operation had taken place at all.
Phase 3, complete.
Alright, let's withdraw. Leave no evidence.
As they prepared to leave, the stuffed animal remains in hand. The door suddenly opened and the soldiers ran right into the people on the other side.
An army man doing a janitor's job? How embarrassing.
It was Azuma Soga, the owner of the room, and Yun Okuda.
You're wondering why we're here?
Graham had to keep himself from nodding. He certainly was wondering. The operations room in Camp Narashino was tracking Azuma and Yun. According to Narashino, the pair were about to arrive at Raiken in Saitama.
Your people are pretty good at tracking. Tracking an empty car, that is.
So you faked leaving.
It took an extremely skilled hacker to fool the army systems. That didn't surprise Graham though. He knew Azuma was capable of such a feat.
When did you figure out our plan?
Are you really that stupid? Do you still think you can hide things from me? You've been here for about a year now. Isn't it about time you got the picture?
Gaia.
And you think that Ewan's a spy. Well, I hope you've learned something here. Nobody can fool me. Nobody.
This operation was necessary to ensure maximum security. I apologize for not informing you about it.
Get out.
Azuma had already stopped listening to Graham. Instead, he sat down and began doing something on his cube-shaped input device. Graham told the soldiers to leave, then did the same himself. The outside scenery suddenly changed. It wasn't the outside, but an artificial visual. What it actually showed was the finest trait of the Earth simulator Gaia, its spherical monitor.
Yeah. No one can fool me or hide anything from me. So, why? Why didn't the thing with the woman turn out as it was simulated?
Asuma.
The last person here besides Asuma, Yun called out to him, triggering an irritated scowl.
Who gave you permission to stay here? Get out!
The government operation to capture the girl has already ended. Further involvement is forbidden.
You really think I'll just do as they tell me?
You weren't even interested at first.
Yeah, at first. But it didn't go as simulated, and I can't just ignore that. My Gaia is supposed to be perfect. This matter can't be overlooked.
Time to celebrate Takaoka's successful or failed elopement! And welcome Izaki and Hosho! Symphony!
Symphony! What kind of cheer is that?
After our chat with Oz, we went to Symphony, where we were greeted by Wind. He was convinced Mom and I were eloping, and wanted to throw us a welcome party for some reason. And, well, this was the situation now.
So, Izaki, where are you from?
Portugal? Or Italy, perhaps?
Whoa! Italy! Ciao ciao al dente!
Al dente!
How about you make some authentic Italian pasta for our boy, huh?
Momo was a bit overwhelmed, but there was something about Wynn's energy that compelled her to join in.
Nakano Symphonies was a sausage fest before, so it's gonna be nice having some girls around. We've got a real floral aura going on now.
Dude, why are you talking like you're part of the team?
It was just some weirdo who liked coming here. He enjoyed hanging out with us, but he never showed any intention of actually joining.
I like the retro feel this place has.
You do? I just want to get the hell out of here.
The person who owned this place was one of my late dad's regular customers, back when he used to do his hacker work. The jobs were never that big though. My dad just had to locate people or objects, stuff like that. After he died, Symphony's owner redirected those jobs to me instead. I was left without a single relative and had to feed myself somehow, so I had no choice but to take them on. The owner ended up letting me use the place. Well, it's more like he gently forced me to use it. I could appreciate someone who was worried for me, but I'd kind of been funneled into doing hacker work, so that level of consideration wasn't totally welcome.
Izaki, Hosho, you can come here whenever you want. I'll welcome you anytime.
I see how it is. To you, I don't actually count as a girl.
Hold on! I'm a man who's happy as long as I can flirt with you, Yomi. I've no eyes for anyone but you.
You should have said that at the start, dummy.
Wendy and Yomi, me are lovey-dovey.
Sure are, but that's just how lovers be, right? You'd know something about that, wouldn't you, Izaki?
Pardon me?
Oh, so innocent.
May I ask who you're speaking with?
Oh, you can't see Yomi. Sorry about that. I'll introduce you both later.
Oh, okay. Please do.
Mama was acting like nothing had happened. But the stuff she told us at the Chinese restaurant was straight up unbelievable. I could see that Oz was dumbfounded, but my face was probably about as shocked.
My mission here is to save the world.
Huh?
The world will end on January 19th, 2038 at 3:14 and 7 seconds.
Seriously?
It wasn't so much Momo's statement about the world ending that surprised me. It was the fact that Momo was the one saying it. It seemed way too insane to be real. I'd convinced her to talk, but I was hearing it all for the first time, just like Oz.
My real name is Lucia. I came to Japan to look for a hacker known as Kent Korihisa.
Who's that?
He currently goes by Cicada 3301.
What? Mysterious person who in January 2012 uploaded a strange puzzle code to 4chan, an online image board. Yeah. Okay.
Cicada. I've heard that before.
The quests?
Yes.
Quests was a term used for certain events. There was this one godlike hacker causing trouble all over the world. They could do stuff that seemed like wizardry. The name was Cicada 3301. The name had been well known since their first appearance in the early 2010s. But someone calling themselves Cicada 3301 had appeared just last year. It wasn't clear whether it was the same person. But the newer one seemed to be sending challenges to hackers all around the world. They went to 4chan's hacker board and posted crazy difficult puzzles involving the real world. Those puzzles hinted at tragic events that actually happened soon after. Cicada was the person causing the incidents. All the evidence was situational, but it seemed almost certain that that was the case. It seemed like Cicada was challenging people. The actions were almost inviting people to solve the puzzles and use the hints to prevent the incidents. The hackers of the world were up to the challenge, of course. The hackers on 4chan went and named Cicada's posts quests. And every time a new quest appeared, all the hackers rushed to complete them, eager to stop any incident from taking place. There'd been 4 quests so far. Hackers from all over the world had taken them on, but not a single quest was completed. The first incident was pretty tame, but the second one resulted in actual deaths. By now, Cicada was widely regarded as a criminal who just wanted to show off their brain power. Was that really the person Momo was looking for?
Even back in 2010, Kent Korihisa was considered a genius hacker. That was the year he bypassed the Vatican's security systems and broke into its computer network.
The Vatican? I didn't expect to hear that.
He was quickly exposed and caught. However, the Pope and the other high-ranking people there chose not to punish him. Instead, they hired him as their head computer engineer.
Gab's den wirklich? Oder gibt's den? Nee. Okay, this.
After that, he was entrusted with the development of the Vatican's QCDC, Necropilgrimage, as well as their Earth simulator.
That was basically the same story as Asuma Soga's. Had Asuma copied Cicada's method?
In 2012, though, shortly before Necropilgrimage's completion, Kent Korihisa suddenly vanished. It's believed that the reason he disappeared was because he accidentally stumbled across a huge secret hidden in the Vatican's main computer. That being the third secret of Fatima.
Well, one of the secrets told by the 1917 Marian apparition in the Portuguese town of Fatima. Virgin Mary first appeared before 3 children, telling them to gather at the same place. Das ist wirklich passiert. And indeed she appeared, oder halt, das halt wirklich passiert im Sinne von, das ist, wird so erzählt. Lucia, stimmt. And indeed she appeared the following month. First told of the end of World War I and a great misfortune that would come during the next Pope's tenure. Second told of a strange light that would be seen at night before the next great misfortune, claiming that it was a warning sign from God himself. The third was a secret the children were only supposed to reveal in 1960. They told the adults regardless, and the information was said to be so terrifying that the Pope at the time fainted upon hearing it. The revelation of the third prophecy was delayed past 1960, and there was even a hijacking incident in 1981. where the perpetrator demanded that the Pope reveal the third secret. The Pope ended up revealing the secret in the year 2000, claiming that it referred to the attempted assassination of the Pope. Okay.
Ah, I see. The secrets of Fatima are used and abused in occult conspiracy circles. I've heard lots of versions of them, including fictional ones.
Was this guy into the occult?
So, what's your take on the third secret of Fatima?
Just as I previously mentioned, that the world will end 3 hours, 14 minutes, and 7 seconds into January 19th, 2038.
Secrets of Fatima. I'd heard of them, but I didn't know much about them.
If things continue as they are, nobody will survive. I want to save the world. It's possible that Kent Korihisa, Cicada 3301, knows how to do that. He might be the world's savior. That's why I must find him, no matter what.
Got any idea where he could be?
He was last seen here in Japan.
So that was why Momo came here, huh? So,
Savior?
Cicada? I really didn't believe he was anything like that. Sure, his ability as a hacker was, like, monstrous. But if you ask me, he was just some shithead who liked showing off. I did think most hackers were unlikable, but this guy was on another level.
Interesting that you mentioned 2012.
I suddenly trailed off muttering something about how that was when the Pope had suddenly resigned and the papal conclave had to be held.
Does that have something to do with the disappearance of this Korihisa guy too?
Elect the next Pope.
Yes.
Figured. The third secret of Fatima getting leaked has got to be a big deal for the Vatican. And that's the reason they're chasing you?
I imagine so.
Where does the army come in then? They got nothing to do with the Vatican.
The army was planning to take Momo to Haneda Airport and hand her over to the Vatican's people.
Why?
Dunno, maybe they teamed up?
How do you know that?
I could have told him we'd both saw it with our own eyes, but explaining it would be a pain in the ass.
I did some independent investigation. Just leave it at that.
All right. Thanks for spilling. Interesting stuff, but not what I was looking for.
What is it about Guy that you're investigating anyway?
This and that, state stuff. Don't ask me anything else.
Oh, really?
No. We're leaving.
But I haven't finished eating yet.
Leave it and let's go.
But you told me not to leave anything. Bye-bye, Polly and Momom.
Thank you very much.
Was kindly paid for the 4 of us, then walked out. We'd just been told some absurd shit, but it looked like he'd taken it all in his stride. As I was wondering why, Oz beckoned me over from outside the restaurant.
There's something I wanted to ask you. Yesterday, you spoke like you knew I was going to be there. How long were you watching me?
I wasn't. I got an app that lets me save and load the world.
That got anything to do with Fatima's secrets?
Who knows?
Und das glaubt er dem auch direkt einfach so. Was sei denn, er handed me a piece of paper.
What's this?
My business card.
Whoa, never seen a paper one before.
Come over if you feel like talking again. And extend my invitation to the little lady.
Not even I could tell how much of what Momo had said was true. If it was all an act though, she was one hell of an actress. By the way, if she wanted to find someone, I'd just help her.
What kind of game is this?
The Game of Life!
Game of Life. I see.
Momo was staring into the screen of a tiny device as she pressed its buttons. She seemed really captivated.
If you like that egg so much, you can have it.
Egg? Oh.
I can?
I got loads more.
Thank you, Nano.
Hey, Polly, do you want one too? Do you?
I'm good. You can play Game of Life on your BMI anyway.
You can. Do you know how? Want to hear my lecture? Lecture, architecture.
Maybe some other time.
But we can do it now.
Matt?
Yo, pull on and cross. This is Tabuchi Motors.
Oh? How are the Graper repairs coming along?
Gonna be finished up sometime today.
Thanks. Put the payment on my tab, as always.
No can do. Not this time.
Huh? Seriously? But it was never a problem before.
It involves part replacement, and that ain't cheap. Gonna need payment up front. And pay your tab too while you're at it.
Way to kick me when I'm down.
The only reason you got away with it for so long is because Dub's a nice guy. You're in no position to complain.
I mean, you're not wrong, but...
No payment, no repairs.
All the past repair bills, plus this one? Sounds like a lot.
Shit, I don't have that kind of cash.
I could hand over my whole fee from the recent job and it still wouldn't cover it.
Hey, Dub, weren't we buddies? What's gotten into you?
You got a GF.
Huh?
You got a GF.
We're not like that.
Yeah, right. You're close enough to elope. Anyway, I'm not repairing a thing till you pay up. That's final.
Come on, man. Be a pal.
I'll consider putting it on your tab if you hook me up with a girl.
Like I can just find one?
Well, I'm not touching your Graper then. Later.
Ah, he ended the call.
God damn it. Why do you have to be like that? Screw him. Our friendship was over.
This is gonna affect our work as Nakano Symphonies. Fine. I'll handle the payment this time.
Huh? Seriously?
I'm sure some of the people I know will let me borrow money.
You're gonna take out loans?
Got no choice. You're gonna be working without pay for a while.
That was a pretty harsh condition though, but...
Thanks, Cross. I owe ya.
We sent Nono home while it was still light outside. She made a tutorial for the Game of Life before she left though, and was whining about how she wanted to stay and play with us. Yeah. Game of Life, yeah. Anyway, things had settled down, so I figured it was a good time. Put a Korean note on Momo. Gibt es echt? Jo. Komma hier. Spielen. Ja, was heißt? Ja, spielen. Genau, also hat, ja, hat halt ein paar Regeln wie wenn so eine Zelle 0 oder 1 Nachbarzelle hat, dann stirbt 4 oder mehr Nachbarn stirbt 2 oder 3 Nachbarn Dings, der überlebt. Und kann man da denn? Oh, oder kann es auch hier tatsächlich spielen. Okay. Ja. Okay. Ja. Ja. Nice Sache. Giving her access to BMI would make info sharing way smoother.
I'll use this to open a hole in your ear for an electrode. It's just like getting a piercing. It might hurt a little, but you won't bleed or anything, so don't worry. Okay, show me your ear.
Here.
She lifted her hair, showing her ear and neck.
Can I touch it?
Of course.
This was kind of stressful.
Did you touch it?
Not yet.
You needn't worry about me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I gently touched her ear.
That tickles a bit.
I'll be done soon.
I'm okay.
I put her ear into the device.
Get ready. Here I go.
A piercing like electrode slipped into her ear.
That's it. You okay?
Yes. That didn't take too long.
The early ones were a real pain to put on, though. It was a while before the process got this simple. Now we just have to clip a carrier node onto it.
I'd ordered one that afternoon and it had already been delivered. It wasn't some luxury model, but it did get the job done. Clipping it onto the electrode only took a second. There were people out there with a whole bunch of different carrier nodes they wore as fashion accessories.
There we go.
Her profile was taken care of too. Cross and I had gone to get her forged one. Moment, die ist 16. Hey. These days, profiles were linked to census data and stuff, so it was pretty hard to fake them. That's why we went to a white hat purveyor company, where Momo could pay to get one made. She'd also decided to use the name Momo Aizaki. It made sense considering she had the Vatican after her. I was kinda embarrassed that she was actually using that name I just thought up out of nowhere.
Wait, what are you looking at? If you got something to say, just spit it out.
I was just thinking about how nice you are.
I gotta admit, your handiwork had me worried. But you did a good job.
Wipe that stupid grin off your face. Aizaki, I set it up so you can contact us.
Thank you.
And you can see Yomi now, right?
Ah, yes, I can. Hello. Don't you dare try to seduce my Wendy. I'll try not to. Thank you all very much. I'm sure this will help me find Kent Korihisa.
Momo still wanted to go it alone. Jeez, talk about stubborn.
Hey, have you ever seen Cicada's face?
Yes. I saw a photo of him that was taken while he was at the Vatican.
Whoa! You being serious? You saw Cicada's face? That's hella spicy! We could make a killer fortune thread about that.
But I don't have that photo with me.
Why don't you draw him from memory, then?
Good idea. You can use the paint app.
Well, I'll try.
We taught her how to use the app, and she spent about half an hour drawing.
I'm done.
Share it.
Okay, here it is. I think I captured his features quite well.
I see. All right, well, putting that aside... Let's start looking into Cicada, all of us. If we all come together on this, we're bound to find some trace of him.
I had no idea how naive that was.
What the hell is going on?
Mach mal hier mal Pause.